On this episode, we are covering my personal favorite X-person, Shatterstar. So get ready to become your own biological father because you're listening to a kind of garbage first in cameo podcast.
It's a kind of...
Welcome everyone to First in Cameo. Today we're talking about the grandfather paradox that is Shatterstar. I'm Adam Bishop, and as always, I'm joined by
Dan Collins.
Is this your first, foray into Shatterstar?
I guess it is my first foray into actually looking at the character or caring about the character or even knowing who the character is. However, I do believe I had one of the old X-Men toys from like the 90s that was a Shatterstar. I'm sure it's kicking around somewhere still, but missing probably an arm and a leg.
I have all three of his 90s action figures complete, sealed in box in my basement storage locker.
Nerd.
Oh, big nerd, yeah.
At least I played with them.
Well, I had my original ones that I did play with. These were repurchases over time that from, I think we went to I don't think we went together. Did we to the Quinty comic show or the toy show?
No, but we ran into each other there.
Yes, I was there with Cody, my other co-host from our other 20,000 podcast. But yeah, we were there and we bought a shit ton of action figures. That was probably one of my not favorite shows, but there was a guy there who had like Tupperware bins full of X-Men, X-Force, X-Factor, like just all these Marvel action figures from that time period. And I think they were all like $5 to $10 because he had all the packs that nobody wanted to buy. He didn't like have Wolverine or Deadpool or he didn't have any of the main characters. They were just like packs of like Shatterstar, Cable, Apocalypse, and Bishop double pack. So like I bought I think $30 or $40 worth. I'm like, yes, look at these, and he's just like, oh, thank God he's buying these.
Meanwhile, he doesn't realize that these are the harder to find ones because you can get Wolverine anywhere.
Oh, like these are the ones that they did sit on the shelf and he must have just bought them and people were looking for their favorite characters. Like I always said, every comic book is somebody's favorite comic book. Every character is somebody's favorite character. Case in point, Shatterstar.
Okay, so before we get into Shatterstar, the comics, why is he your favorite? What about him is exciting to you?
Well, I had that right in my notes in front of me, which is my first introduction to Shatterstar. So this is in the 90s. My brother, I don't know why I was never invited, but my brother and my mom would like go out shopping together when he was little. And they would always come back and my brother would have an X-Men figure that he would buy. And then he would have one that they bought for me because I wasn't invited to go with them. One time he got, I don't ask me, I have no idea why. One time he got Wolverine. And then they gave me Professor X.
Was this the Professor X that was in the like golden wheelchair?
Yeah, where he came with like a little gun that you could put inside the chair.
Gun for no reason, right? Like, why did Professor X have a gun in his chair?
Yeah,
I had that toy.
See, and yeah, that's like what I got. And then one time, I think he got Sabretooth to go with this Wolverine. And then my mom picked out Shatterstar for me, mainly because he had orange hair. And she's like, oh, he has orange hair just like Adam. And like when I got it, like you look at this figure, he has shoulder pads, he has a belt, he has dual swords, and then he had orange hair. And I'm like, I like this guy. Like I actually appreciated that figure that my mom got me.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so that was my introduction. And from that moment on, like whenever I'd see a comic with him on the cover when I was little, I would buy it. And over the years, like I was always telling people like I love Shatterstar, and they're like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Oh, let me tell you." And yeah, my interest in Shatterstar never like gave out. I have both of his single, I guess his title role, like there's X-Force Shatterstar and there's Shatterstar, like his own individual comic series. I have both of them, and I have all of his major appearances and single issues as well.
Yeah, that is awesome. And it sounds like when you're talking about like who's Shatterstar, and you saying, well, let me tell you, that sounds like me with Captain Canuck.
Exactly.
Who's Captain Canuck? Well, I'm glad that you asked. I didn't ask. Well, I'm gonna tell you anyways.
I think a lot of people are going to be familiar with Shatterstar from the Deadpool 2 movie, where it makes his first movie appearance, which you would think would boost his popularity, but no, because have you seen this movie yet?
Okay, so I told you I was going to watch the movie to help research for this podcast, but I lied to you because I didn't.
Yeah, there's only like 2 real scenes with Shatterstar in it. There's his interview where he's being interviewed for, I think they called it X-Force in the movie. He's being interviewed for the group, and then when they go on their first mission together. And that's really all you need to see. The first one,
Yeah.
gets interviewed, joins the group. The second scene is him and all of X-Force jump out of the back of, I think it was like a plane, and Shatterstar lands into helicopter blades and gets chopped up and killed.
I saw that like when I looked up the movie and I was like, it talked about him getting killed and how he gets killed. And I was like, so it's basically a joke. Like this isn't a great way for him to go out.
No, and I remember I told it on a different podcast, but I remember when my friend Connor was at the theaters, he knew how much I love Shatterstar and he saw Deadpool 2 in theaters. So when that happened and he got killed right away, Connor burst out laughing in the movie theater and nobody else was laughing but him.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and he's just like, "Oh man, I can't wait to talk to Adam." And I hadn't seen it for like I think 2 months until like after the theaters. And so I finally texted him and I'm like, "Oh my god, Shatterstar, no." And he's just like, "Oh, I've been waiting for this text message for months."
And the best part is that he didn't say anything to give away what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Like it's not like he's like, oh, you should watch the movie. Shatterstar's in it, and you'd be like, oh wait, maybe something uncool happens.
I assume that he was wishing that he could have been right beside me to see the Ralph Wiggum like heart break as Lisa tells him like, "We're not like I'm not
This
your
is the exact
girlfriend."
moment his heart broke.
Exactly. My girlfriend got to see it, and I was just like, no. And it was like laugh, crying at the same time. Like, why? Like, it's hilarious, but holy shit. And they did action figures for Deadpool too. You had Deadpool, Domino, Cable, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, but no Shatterstar, which I would have bought.
Yeah. Well, obviously, if he's not good enough to die a good death, and if he just gets thrown into some helicopter rotors,
Oh, I'm so disappointed.
maybe they'll put out like a pop vinyl set that's him in mid death scene in the helicopter.
Oh, that'd be great. When I talk to the people at Funko at my work's conference, because they come there, I did mention to them, it's like, hey, we need to get more 90s movies. And I'm like, we need Waterworld, Hackers, Highlander. You could do Highlander ones where their heads are like decapitated as chases. And they're like, that's a great idea. And I'm like, please do it.
And they're going to do all of those ideas, and you're responsible for saving Funko, but you don't get any credit.
No, I would definitely buy the Waterworld, like the Funko rides. If they did the Mariner and the Trimaran, I would buy that.
You would buy anything that said Waterworld.
It's true.
It doesn't even have to be about the movie. You just go around buying things that have the words Waterworld together.
I've been looking for the trading cards, but nobody ever has them.
No.
People are like, get to the slabs on
Get to the
Shatterstar.
good stuff. It's called First in Cameo, not talk about your toys. All right. So the first slab that I had was New Mutants 99.
Oh, that's on my list. It's not the first slab I had, but go ahead.
Should I switch to a different slab? Because I might have a different slab that might be your first slab.
I put them in release order. I don't know what order you put them in.
Is that New Mutants Annual 6?
That is my first one.
All right, so let's start with that one then.
Okay, you have that one as well?
I have that one as well, yes.
Awesome. I guess we should double check. I picked 5 slabs. How many did you pick?
I have 3 slabs and one comic, not a slab.
Okay, so I have also one extra one, which is like my honorable mention that had no slabs information whatsoever that I could find.
Yeah. New Mutants Annual 6. See, the CGC notes say Marvel Comics 1990. Louise Simonson and Peter David story, Terry Shoemaker and Chris Wozniak art, Rob Liefeld and Scott Williams cover, first appearance of Shatterstar, Fantastic Four appearance, pinups by Rob Liefeld. Is that what you got?
Yeah, Shatterstar appearance in pinup, because it's not
Yes.
a story. Like I have this annual. It's not a story. It's just like a roster picture of like I think it's everyone who's going to be in the upcoming X-Force. Like I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah, so it's just, and Shatterstar doesn't even look like, he doesn't look as Shatterstar-ish as he does in New Mutants 99. He looks more like David Bowie.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a great picture of him, but yeah, that's definitely I guess that's technically his first appearance if you're doing non like comic canon.
So does that count? Does a pinup count as a first appearance?
Does that Hellboy count that we talked about?
No, but that wasn't a pinup.
No.
That was art on a poster on the wall of a panel. That's so far removed from even a pinup.
So this gets into the territory of like Spawn, because Spawn was first revealed in Rust #1, not a Spawn comic. But and then that's the whole thing with the Marvel previews and whatnot. So I would say this is an appearance because it's not in comic form; it's an advertisement. So I would say this would be Shatterstar preview in pinup by Rob Liefeld, and that's what I would say. It's not an appearance; it's a preview.
Okay, but they don't. CGC doesn't have a note that says preview
No,
like Shatterstar preview in pinup. And I mean, I don't know. This is a tough because this goes beyond even a cameo. Where whether you argue whether a cameo, if I suppose if we're going to argue whether or not a cameo actually counts as a first appearance, then a pinup definitely doesn't count,
no, it
right?
doesn't.
This is no different than getting a copy of the previews and saying this is the first appearance of X character,
Of
isn't it?
Spider-Man Miles Morales.
First appearance of Spider-Man Miles Morales. Previews number 227, $900.
It's like, okay.
Because it's not seeing the character visually for the first time is not outside of a story, is not an appearance, right?
I agree.
Like otherwise you could just have maybe there's a photo of somebody dressed up as Spider-Man before the first Spider-Man comic came out, and you're like, well, that's actually the first appearance of Spider-Man because there's a photo of a guy who is dressed like Spider-Man. Doesn't count. It's got to be in a comic. It's got to be in a story.
It has to be in the story. It has to be at least one panel in the actual story, the meat of the book. This is just not even an advertisement. This is just, I think it was just like an editorial piece talking about like their plans for the future. And they have a picture of Cable and all of his, I was gonna say goons, all of his goons, and Shatterstar's there with them. Like that doesn't count as their appearance. That's a marketing page basically.
And yeah, like an advertisement shouldn't count.
Yeah, CGC does say Shatterstar. See, but they even just say appearance. Shatterstar appearance in pinup predates New Mutants 99. So even they technically don't know how to word it because it doesn't say it's his first appearance because it's just saying it's an appearance.
Yeah. Now, and like in the 80s, DC did a lot of previews in the back of their comics. Like I think New Teen Titans 16. That's the first Captain Carrot. Okay. But there's like a 15, 16 page preview. It's of an actual comic. It's not like a picture of him in the back of the comic. And they're like, here's your preview. And this is the first appearance of the character. Like there's pretty much a whole story in there that they're previewing. That counts, but a roster shot of some characters, she don't count.
Nope.
The census, let's talk about the census here.
Mm-hmm.
There's 69.8s, 53 9.6s, 22 9.4s, and there is one amazing CGC SS 4.5 on the census.
Why?
I saw that and I knew I had to mention it. Obviously somebody just took their personal comic to, a convention or whatever and got it signed. And they were like, well, who cares? It's my personal comic,
See, and I feel like if you're taking your comic that you bought off the newsstand or from the comic book store when it first came out, and it is in bad condition because it was your reader, and you get that signed and you get it slabbed, one, it's a signature series. It's on your wall. Two, you can. It's not like go to your friends. I bought this comic on eBay, then I went to the convention, got signed. No, you have a longer story where I was there. I picked this comic up in 1990. I read it in my bedroom. I lent it to this friend. Like you have stories for that book. And then I went to a convention and got Mr. Liefeld to scribble his name on the cover and be like, that'll be $90. And then a guy got slapped while I was there. That's great. Instead of being like, I bought it on eBay.
Yeah. But
hopefully that guy didn't sell it afterwards, but
I mean, and it doesn't say who it's signed by. So for all we know, it could be signed by Stan Lee or something, because everybody likes to get Stan Lee autographed stuff. So, but yeah, we would hope it's signed by Rob Liefeld or Peter David. Peter David out of that list of creators is a pretty good one.
So Dan did the census. I started looking at the census a little bit too. The only extra note that I took is that there are 198 total CGC books of New Mutants Annual number 6.
Okay.
While I was looking, I did pull up an eBay listing. I changed it up. Instead of looking for ones that have sold, I now have ones that you can buy at this moment, unless they've already sold.
Okay.
So I did what Dan told me. I'm looking at 9.8s. There is a 9.8 CGC up there for $159.65. Buy it now or best offer with $33 shipping and 22 import fees US dollars. The biggest thing is there are no CBCS or no PGX books on eBay sold or for sale for this one. Because I think this would be one that not a lot of people are sending in, even though we see there's almost 200 through CGC.
Yeah. I mean, there's other than this possible first appearance of Shatterstar as a pinup, there's nothing in this comic that's worth noting.
No, unless you're trying to complete your New Mutants collection, like I was and still am, where I'm missing technically 2 books. That one I have though, so it's fine.
You're not a CGC completist. You don't have it would be interesting to look up some of these runs on the CGC site, because there are people who Marty and I collect CGC books, and we fight for the Captain Canuck CGC registry award every year. I've had the Chapter House one for the last 3 or 4 years, and he always has the classic Captain Canuck one because he has way more money than I do to buy all those old 9.8s. There's a lot of pride in people getting a full run or having the most CGC copies of a certain title to get that little certificate. And I wonder if anybody has all the New Mutants from 1 to 100 plus the annuals. That's a question we can't answer right now.
No, I know seeing a while ago of I'm sure everyone who follows like Slabs would know who this person is. There was a guy who has all of like the Uncanny X-Men up to date CGC. I believe, I don't know, I think it was a 9.8 or it might have been like 9 or higher. I don't remember, but they're like filing cabinets. And I remember seeing that picture online, being like, they're just stored away. But like, that's amazing. You have all of them. I hope they're insured as well.
Like, what's the point of having them in a filing cabinet?
Oh, he had like 4 filing cabinets because you have like literally almost X-Men's probably up. Is it near 1,000 now?
Yeah, I was gonna say it was at like 500 15, 20 years ago.
And with legacy numbering, who knows what Marvel did?
That legacy numbering is going to be really hard on that filing cabinet.
Oh fuck, it definitely will be. All right, do you want to jump to our next title?
Yep, go ahead.
That should, for me, it's New Mutants number 99.
Same.
All right, what are the details for that? Because you have more notes than I do.
You mean you just don't want to say the writer's name? That's why you're pushing this one on me.
Oh, the writer's name is Fabian. I already forget after looking at Nicieza. I apologize.
Nicieza.
I look at this and then I watched a video of a guy saying it. I'm like, I still can't say it.
I mean, we watched the video, but we don't even know if he pronounced it correctly.
No,
he could have pronounced it wrong.
The person did not correct him. That's like Charlize Theron, where she was on a late night show where they asked her, how do you say your last name? And she said it with an accent and it sounds like Throne. He's like, I thought it was Theron. She's like, you say whatever you want, but she's like, it's Throne.
No comment. That's why I'm glad to have a very easy to say last name.
Collins.
Mispronounce it, damn you. Mispronounce it. Clins?
Clins.
Mr. Clins?
So what are the details for this book?
So, Marvel Comics 391, March 1991, Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nicieza story. Rob Liefeld cover and art. First appearance of Feral. Sunspot leaves. First appearance of Shatterstar in cameo on last page. X-Men issue 138 cover homage.
So this is the kind of first appearance of Shatterstar. This is great that it is a first in cameo. How fitting.
First in cameo for the First in Cameo show.
And they don't even mention, I'm surprised in the notes they don't say, like, they don't mention the New Mutants annual number 6. But this one, yeah, I guess he does show up in the last page. I meant to go through my comic boxes, but they're all stacked on top of each other because I have those BCW black bins. And I'm like, I don't know what bin these are in, or else I would actually dig them out. And I just don't have the patience to pull it out so I could see what the last page looked like. But yeah, this is Shatterstar's, I guess, technical first.
Well, you should have told me, because I have a big fat old X-Force omnibus that I tried to sell you at the beginning of the pandemic and you didn't want. And so I read this issue and New Mutants 100, and I could have sent you a picture of his cameo.
How is it? How does it look? Describe it for our listeners.
It's a decent, okay. When we're talking about cameos, what did we say previously makes something a cameo? Like if the character, okay, because this is literally, he's in the story for the very last panel of the entire book. It's a half-page panel, so it's a, pretty decent visual representation. However, he's unconscious and on the floor. He doesn't speak. There's nothing in it at all. It doesn't say his name. It just shows him a picture of him unconscious on the floor.
That
So
that reminds me of when I was collecting, well, I still am, as I was collecting Sugar Man appearances in comic books.
your favorite character of all time, yes?
My favorite, one of my favorite villains of all time. There was a listing of this book. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna grab it. Sugar Man's in it. And then as I'm going through it, I'm like, where is Sugar Man? And then I found out that Sugar Man is in a computer monitor, much like Nick Fury was for the Spider Woman that we did last
Nice.
week. Yeah, and I was just like,
Nice.
oh, there's Sugar Man. And I totally forgot that at that time, or else I would have mentioned it last week. But yeah, it was just like Sugar Man's head. And I think it was when Beast was asking for help on how to get mutants back. And he had just hundreds of monitors. So he had like a bunch of good guys. He had a bunch of like evil geneticists like Sinister, Sugar Man, Mojo, just people like to try and get their help to bring in mutants back. But anyways, yeah. So
does Sugar Man actually talk in that episode, that issue?
Not that one's just a picture of his, of like I wouldn't even say it's a picture of him. I think it was like a silhouette as well.
So the famous like Days of Future Past like cover or whatever, like where it's got like all the mutants' faces and says like killed, murdered, missing, whatever,
Yeah.
That image. So that's like saying that all of those count as an appearance by those characters.
Yeah, I would say no. Well, that's the same with Hellboy, where it's like, no, it's just a picture in the background, doesn't count.
Like that's like your Sugar Man is basically it's just an image of his face and has nothing to do with the character at all.
Well, to be fair, it was a live feed in comic form.
It was a live feed. Now I'm even more confused. How can there be a live feed in comic form?
Because
first appearance in live feed on comic form. That's the new name of our show.
Oh my God, it's true. So for this one, the CBCS notes.
Skipping back to being on topic, eh?
I'm gonna jump back. It was very similar to CGC's. It's first appearance of Feral, first appearance of Shatterstar in cameo, Sunspot leaves team. And that's it. They don't mention the X-Men cover.
X-Men.
Yeah, they don't mention the cover. So yeah, this is technically, I guess, the first appearance of Shatterstar in cameo, but like it's his first appearance in the comic in story form, even if he's just laying there unconscious on the ground.
Okay, so let's talk about our next comic, and then we'll come back to this.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you want to do the census?
Absolutely. 205 9.8s, 103 9.6s, 49 9.4s.
What I can contribute is that there are 428 total CGC issues of this issue.
Okay.
And for eBay listings, currently, when I wrote down my notes, there was a 9.8 CGC, buy it now for 134 Canadian with $25 shipping, and a 9.8 signature series CBCS for 255, buy it now, or best offer with $38.
Wait, are we being paid by
eBay?
By eBay and stuff?
Shit, I hope we're getting kickbacks. I'm advertising. Well, I'm not giving links. There's going to be no show links. It's just telling you what they're going for right now, what people are asking. And I think that was the lowest price I looked up as well. So these comics can be yours for the low price of what I just said.
It turns out they're all links to your eBay account.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
You're selling these and pretending that there's somebody else selling them and then advertising them on the show. You're nefarious. All right, so the next is New Mutants 100, obviously. Marvel Comics from April 91. Fabian Nicieza story, Rob Liefeld art. First appearance of X-Force. First appearance of Shatterstar. Last issue.
For CBCS, it is listed as first appearance of X-Force, Domino, Shatterstar, and Feral joined the team last issue. So first appearance of X-Force, Domino, and Shatterstar. Domino, however,
Fake Domino.
wasn't fake Domino in 98 though?
I don't know.
Yeah,
yes, because that's the CGC notes say like first appearance of Copycat as Domino or something, right?
Yeah. So who knows which Domino is in this? It doesn't matter. It's CBCS.
They can't even get it straight. Now, sorry, skipping back to 99, I had a little plot. Usually I like to say what the plot of these comics is.
Yeah.
The plot I wrote down is Cable's bad attitude chases away a bunch of characters. Feral makes her first appearance, and in the final panel of the book, there's a cameo from Shatterstar.
So
does that sound about right?
Yeah, what is it? I'm trying to remember because I've read it. Is it that Shatterstar was breaking into like Cable's spaceship or into?
Nope, he's in the danger room in the X mansion or whatever.
Okay.
Now we can get into the plot from this issue, though, issue 100, which is that this is the extremely stereotypical introduction of a new character. Shatterstar is in their space. They all fight him until they realize they need to team up to fight some other bad guys who are attacking them.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the most stereotypical introduction of a character.
I think that that is usually what happens. Usually what happens is they are fighting like a little bad guy, and that little bad guy might turn into a good guy, and then they fight a bigger bad guy. So they started fighting Shatterstar in this first?
Yeah, Shatterstar slips through the dimensions or whatever and ends up in a danger room, and he's being attacked by like the danger room and fighting, and then Cable and Domino and some other characters come and try to talk to him, and they attack him, and then he attacks them, and they fight and fight and fight, and then Shatterstar gets knocked out, and then that's when a bunch of other bad guys appear who are coming to try to take Shatterstar back, and so they all team up to fight those bad guys.
Let's just point out that it took 3 people to take out Shatterstar, showing how much of a badass he is.
Sure. If you say so. I mean, he is genetically grown to be a warrior or something? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think one of his traits is that his bones are hollow, which means he can move around faster. Kind of like they say that he's like a bird because birds have hollow bones, which allows them to fly. So I think that he's supposed to have hollow bones, which makes him very light.
Okay. That doesn't explain the panel in my omnibus on page 59, where it shows all of the characters looking like they're flying, even though only one of them has flying powers. So I'm confused by that.
That's Liefeld doing his thing.
Like the panel literally, it's a small rectangular panel at the bottom of the page, and it's got 5 characters in it, and the Shatterstar's unconscious and being carried over one of their shoulders, and
Nice.
None of them, there's no floor. It's just like they're in space with some color behind them. I'm like, and you guys don't fly. Like only Cannonball flies out of this group, so weird. I had some thoughts on this comic as well, which is it's possibly the ugliest cover on a comic book ever. What do you think about that?
Oh, the number one with all the hundreds in the background?
Blue and white.
Well, there's 3 different printings of it. I have all 3. The blue and white does not look good. I think there's a golden white or silver and white where the gold or the white is the full background, and then the gold and the silver is the text. But the blue the blue wall of color and the white text, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is ugly. Yes, I agree.
It's just so unappealing.
The white background version looks much better.
My other note that I had is that typically I've enjoyed Fabian's writing, but when I reread these comics, like the dialogue is trying so hard to be cool that it's embarrassing. And then I was like, it's also been 30 years and I feel old. So maybe it's just me.
It's Liefeld in the background, like, make it more extreme, make it cooler.
like some of the characters just, and even Shatterstar is using like contemporary dialogue that is, like contemporary slang for the 90s, which is ridiculous. You're introducing a character who's never been to Earth, and he's using some quips that the other characters are as well.
For a futuristic character, you're as 90s can be.
Although he does have a few good insults, like calling them tough mojo kissers and stuff. But yeah, there's I think Boom Boom, the character Boom Boom, she's just terrible, horrible.
Yeah.
All of her dialogue is just ridiculous.
I think like Jubilee is budget Boom Boom almost.
Jubilee is budget Boom Boom. Who did Boom Boom come first?
Oh yeah, Jubilee was made up for the oh, am I gonna get that wrong? I feel like she was made up for the TV show, but that's incorrect. I don't remember. Morph was made for the TV show. Jubilee was like the replacement technically for Dazzler, because they had basically the same powers, but Jubilee reminds me of a shitty Boom Boom as well.
And Boom Boom's not even a good character, so
no.
So for the census for this one, there was 9.9, 1,322 9.8s, 858 9.6s, and 369.4s. So you can see that it is a popular comic to slab.
Yeah, the first printing had 2,998 slabs. And then the second printing had 142, and the third had 204. And I know from the first printing, the census, the one that I got a kick out of is that for, was it 9.8, 6, and 4, there were a few restored issues. Where I'm like, who's restoring these? Maybe they didn't know when they sent them in that somebody restored them, but that could be like what they count pieces of tape, and if you restapled it as being restored, correct?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but even still, if you restapled your comic or if there's tape on it, why are you sending it in?
It's true. I restapled my comics a ton when I was a little kid.
You're a monster.
Because when you were like, I'm thinking grade 5. So what's that like? I don't even know what age group that is. But in grade 5, I would read
10
my
or
comics.
11.
Yeah, I would read my comics so much that the pages would start falling out of them. So I would restaple them at school, because I don't think I had a stapler at home, because why would you? But yeah, I would walk up to the teacher's desk and I would ask permission, can I staple my comic book back together? And she's like, yeah, for sure. And I would take it and I would staple it in the sense that it's closed back to front, and I would staple it as close to the edge as I could on the cover of the comic.
So it wasn't even open in a staple in the proper space.
No, because the stapler wasn't long enough to do that, which I did do that in the past. And what you would do is you would open it, and then you would take the first you would take the cover of it, and then you'd fold it in half, and then slide that under the stapler to staple it in the middle of the book.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had when I released the first batch of Tractor Lad comics, they were all just printed from a file at Staples, and in black and white. And so I just had a regular staple, and so I would bend half the comic just as much as I needed to, so I could get the stapler into the middle, cram 2 staples in, and then like press it down to try to get rid of the waviness. And I'm a professional.
It's okay. The eBay listings for this book, it's interesting. Both of them are going to be 9.8s. CGC is buy it now for 173 or best offer with $40 shipping and $23 import fees. The CBCS is 95, or I guess $96 buy it now or best offer, and $37 shipping and handling with $15 US import fees. So it's not an expensive book. And I think that might be because there are almost 3,000 of them out there, of something that's, I guess, just a landmark, because we're closing the saga of the New Mutants.
Also, like, Shatterstar is not a character that's going to demand a lot of money on this first appearance. And does the first appearance of X-Force count? Like, is that how does a team first appearance work? Does it matter if they've all appeared previously individually that now they're suddenly a team?
Well, I know that for New Mutants itself, the New Mutants first appeared in I think it was like, I want to say a trade paperback, but I think it was like a one-off.
Like a true graphic novel.
Yes, a true graphic novel. That's what it was. It was in a graphic novel first, and then they got their own series afterwards. So like I have.
That was God Love Man Kills, right?
Well, that's X-Men. God Loves Man.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was X-Men.
If I'm wrong, cut that from the show.
I think it's just called New Mutants. I don't remember the subtitle for it. But yeah, so I think at the like I said, I didn't reread this. Dan did, but I think at the end, was it just like Cable standing with his team being like, "We're the X-Force," and that's it?
Okay, I have my thing right in front of me because I was like, this may come in handy. And literally, yeah, there's another panel. Okay, two or three pages away. Okay, 10, 15 pages later, in the exact same positioning as the previous panel I was complaining about. There's the same panel size at the bottom. It's the whole team. There's Feral, Shatterstar, Boom Boom, Cable, Domino, characters whose name I forget, and another character whose name I forget. And they're standing there, and one of the characters says, "Take Professor Xavier's dream and fight for it." And somebody else goes, "An X-Force? A little crude, but it's got some possibilities." Like, also, that's how you're giving your team the name, that you're a force and you're naming yourself X after Xavier. So you're the X-Force. Terrible name. Terrible name.
They're the Batman team of the Marvel Universe, and we're just outlaws at this point.
Yeah. What was the question?
How did they show themselves as a team?
Yeah, so there's one panel of them standing there. Also notable in this issue is that Cable just stone cold murders a Morlock, shoots him in the face, and nothing gets said about it. Like, he literally shoots a Morlock in the face, and he's dead on the ground. And then, like, because the Morlocks came to try to take Feral back, and yeah, he just shoots one in the face and then says, "Get out of here," to the rest, and they run. Like, even mentioned, nobody even says, like, I don't think that was necessary. They're just like, okay,
maybe
shot him
Cable,
in the face. He's
maybe
dead now.
Cable had his gun set to stun.
I mean, it is possible. However, like, the character's lying on the ground with the part where he got shot off screen, so you can't see like big hole in him or anything, but his mouth is wide open, looking dead. And the other characters seem very shocked. So, like the other Morlocks, the good guys are whatever. Anyways, if it's not in the CGC notes that he murdered him, I guess it doesn't count.
Nope. Phaser set to stun.
Murder only counts if it's noted by the CGC.
So for my next book, was that it for your CGC? Now you just have a non?
Yes.
Okay. So for my next book, you can let me know if it's it's not going to be for your non-noted one, since I have a note for it. It is. Oh, I also don't have as many notes for like who wrote it, who drew it, all that stuff. It's like, I know. It is Wolverine number 54, published by Marvel, May 1992.
Okay.
For CGC notes, I have Shatterstar and Rogue appearance, Cannonball cameo. And then for CBCS, we have Shatterstar cover and appearance, Rogue appearance, Cannonball cameo. This book, I own it. The reason why I purchased it, because I believe the background of the cover is red, and then you have Wolverine and Shatterstar kind of like engaging each other on the cover. And I'm like, yeah, man, Shatterstar's gonna kick Wolverine's ass. And this is one of the notable Shatterstar stories where Shatterstar and Wolverine get into a tussle. Basically, Wolverine ends on top, unfortunately. He beats Shatterstar, but not to the point where it's a clear outcome. Shatterstar comes close, though.
Does he really? Yeah. Does he really?
And I do have a CGC census for this as well. For 9.9, there is 1. 9.8, there was 86. 9.6, there was 8. 9.4, there was 2. There's 98 total slab copies available through CGC.
Because we live in the internet age, I was able to quickly pull up that it's a Fabian Nisaza story, and Derek Robertson and Don Hudson art, Derek Robertson and Joe Rubenstein cover. There you go.
Thank you guys for making a great comic because I enjoy it and I own it.
And yeah, the cover's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's I think it even has like a little banner in the top right corner that says Shatterstar or something.
And now Shatterstar.
Yeah, well, Shatterstar and Wolverine is stick each other with their blades. This is available on eBay, maybe right now. The CGC 9.8 is $70. Buy it now with $33 shipping, $11.50 USD import fees. CBCS 9.8 for $81. Buy it now or best offer with $25 of shipping fee. So the CBCS, I think this was the first maybe one of the first times where it costs more for some reason, but they do have a best offer. So if you want to get a CBCS, you can get it for cheaper.
Or if you're watching this within the next 7 days, there's an auction up for one in Canada starting at $54.99.
Really? Ooh,
$25
nice.
shipping. Yeah, for the CGC. That's the one that I pulled up when I was searching this.
So that must have been put up after I looked up. Yeah, go grab that. It's a nice cover. Is that 9.8 as well?
9.8, yeah. Or I mean,
Mm.
you can just buy a raw cover for $1.89.
Yeah, it's not a expensive comic whatsoever. And let's talk about this. There is a Cannonball cameo.
Okay.
I wish they dug this out because I want to know, what do they mean by cameo? Is he on one page? Maybe.
Yeah.
See, the way that I look at a cameo is you are in the background, you are not acknowledged. That's a cameo. So if Cannonball is just kind of like in the background, but I'm assuming that there's going to be more characters than just Wolverine, Rogue, and Cannonball in this story. I hope so, because that'd be kind of boring.
Yeah. So what's the point of the cameo notation then, right?
Yeah, like, is this for like all those Cannonball collectors? Like, I need to get all my Cannonball comics.
Cannonball collectors. Do they exist outside of military groups?
This is true. If you're a Cannonball collector, please email us at akindofgarbage@gmail.com and let us know. What was I think that was, you know what? I lied. I only had 4 CGC books and then I have 1 non-CGC.
Yeah. Okay. So is this you got a non-CGC one now?
Oh, you know what? No, I lied. It is a CGC book. I'm an idiot.
Adam the liar.
There's just no notes for it. That was what it was.
Okay.
And then you can look up who did all the work for it, since I didn't write that down.
Sounds great, buddy. Sounds
Awesome.
great.
So this is X Factor number 259. This was published by Marvel, September 2013. So like I said, the CGC key comments was there were none. The census is that there's 1 copy slabbed at a 9.8. It's just a universal grade standard issue. Now, the big thing about this is, well, before I get into the online comments about the title, this is on eBay, not the graded one, obviously, but just you can get this for, I think it was as low as like $8, and this like seller graded it at a 9.6. So take that what you will. The online comments are as followed, which it's a lot. Are you ready, Dan?
I'm listening.
Okay. Shatterstar, origin revealed. Long shot, first appearance chronologically, origin revealed. Infant Shatterstar, first appearance chronologically, birth. Spiral, first appearance chronologically. So those are the notes. You do get to witness Shatterstar. Well, you don't get to see him popping out of his mom, who's Dazzler. But this is...
Wait, his mom is Dazzler?
Yes. And his father
I don't know anything about this character.
Okay, so we can get into this issue. This is a big issue where they finally like let you know who Shatterstar is, because I don't want to say it was a Wolverine type thing, but you're like, where the fuck did this guy come from? Because nowhere, he just magically appears one day. Shatterstar is the son of Dazzler and Longshot. Now, with that said, in this issue, I'm gonna try and remember it correctly. Shatterstar is captured by Mojo. Mojo takes Shatterstar's DNA and uses it to genetically engineer Longshot. Longshot and Dazzler later on have a baby who is Shatterstar, who is saved by Shatterstar and Richter. Does this make sense?
No. This is some Doctor Who paradoxes here.
Yes, Shatterstar is his own... Like, Shatterstar's dad is a genetically modified version of himself. So it's a grandfather paradox. And I didn't know that when I got into Shatterstar, but knowing that, you're like, this is fucking great. Shatterstar isn't even like, who's his dad? It's himself, technically. Like, amazing. Like, I was gonna say you can't write this stuff, but Marvel definitely did. Do you have the notes for who actually wrote this story? Because when I see him, I just, like, if I ever get to see him, I'm gonna ask him, like, what were you thinking?
I couldn't find anything.
Oh,
I couldn't
no.
find anything because I was looking up the CGC notes. And since there's only one graded copy, it's not on eBay.
No, you have to look at the census for it.
Yeah, so
No.
I'm not going to risk dropping our whole show to look up the census.
No. So that's a really interesting book. The cover of it is amazing. It's Shatterstar on one side, Longshot on the other. Well, like they're kind of like back to back, but they're kind of mirrored. So they have the same exact pose, just opposite. Behind them, I'm trying to remember now. Behind them, I'm pretty sure Mojo is there, and it's all the TV screens. And it's actually a really well done cover.
And you said this issue was from 2013?
I believe so, yes. X Factor 259.
He was a character for 22 years before they revealed his origin.
Fuck yeah, Wolverine style.
Like that's pretty incredible. I mean, they revealed his regular origin, and that's the other thing too, is the New Mutants 100 doesn't say like Shatterstar origin, just first appearance, even though he says, hey, my name is Shatterstar and I'm from Mojo's world and I'm here to do blah blah blah. Like is that not his origin, right?
Yeah. What's his actual name again? His non-code name?
Oh boy,
I can't even. I look at it and I'm like, yep, those are words.
Those are words. I had it somewhere, but I don't know if I have it
Especially like
still or if I just deleted it.
Yeah, I erased it from my notes. I'm like, I'm not going to bother trying to say that.
Yeah, because I probably deleted it. Yeah, because I was like, not on your life.
All right. So what is your non-slabbed issue? Because then it might be my non-slabbed issue, but we'll see. We can both talk about them together.
My non-slabbed issue is X Factor Volume 3, Issue 45.
That's my non-slabbed as well.
Yep, the first kiss between Richter and Shatterstar.
Yep, first on panel male kiss between two mainstream male superheroes in a mainstream Marvel comic book.
Yeah, so that's a pretty epic moment in comics, right?
Yeah, and you have Strong Guy at that, like with them, like reuniting with them, and then they start kissing, and then Strong Guy goes, "Oh, I didn't see that coming."
I haven't read this issue, so I don't know what happens in the issue.
Okay, yeah, it's a great issue. There's like X Factor gets really good at this point. I hate the logo of it, which doesn't really matter. I hate the logo on the comic. But Shatterstar is currently in, like, his outfit and his haircut is also what I deem the worst. He has he has short hair, like short as me basically, and then he has a white trench coat, and his swords are now like, they're not like standard handle swords. They're more like he's holding on to like a motorcycle, like handlebars, and then the swords come out of the side of the handlebars. And yeah, like I don't like
That's awful.
I don't like his swords. I don't like his costume. I don't like his hair. I'm like, no, give me Shatterstar with like the padded face mask. That's my favorite Shatterstar.
Yeah. So there's no issues of this, none of this, no copies of this comic have been slabbed, which I think is kind of weird, because when I looked up the census, issue 44 has some slabbed, issue 46 has some slabbed, but no issue 45s. And as we were talking about before, like there's these people that like to get the entire run of a comic slabbed and be able to say that they've got the whole thing. And it's weird that the preceding and following issues are slabbed, but not the issue that actually has something important happen in it.
And that is volume 3?
Yeah, because you didn't find any slabbed issues either, right?
No, but for myself, when I looked up the census, which I'm doing right now, X Factor, what year was that?
Don't ask me that.
Okay, maybe I'm just an idiot. God, I don't even know how they number this on the CGC website. Maybe I'm just horrible.
Basically, I agree. It's so hard. Like, it doesn't say volumes. It just says the year they're released, right?
Yeah.
And so I was going by the fact that they talk about this being released in 2010 or 2011. So I was like, okay, which series ran it at that time?
Yeah, because I'm looking at it now where 45 is not there between 46 and 44, but then it jumps from 49 to 200.
So they just changed the numbering.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't understand. Maybe they just, yeah, who knows? I have no idea what they're doing
Yeah.
at Marvel.
Legacy numbering before legacy numbering was cool.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah. So yeah, that was my non-CGC. Like I can't remember what the cover looks like. Like I have this book and I have no idea. I think it's a bad cover as well. There are a lot of great Shatterstar and Richter stories in X Factor though. So if you want to watch two dudes running around together, like read those books, they're really good.
Yeah, so like there was some controversy, obviously. Controversy that you wouldn't expect, which is that Rob Liefeld was upset because the character is supposed to be asexual, as in he's not attracted to anybody because he's so alien and he's asexual. So when Peter David wrote this issue and had him come out as being gay, there was some Rob Liefeld didn't like it. And Peter David said, "Well, I don't care if you don't like it."
Which good. Fuck Rob Liefeld. They can. It's a fictional character. I don't think they ever declare that he was asexual to begin with, and then Rob Liefeld comments on like, no, he doesn't like anybody. It's like, dude, like leave it alone. It's a character that not many people talk about or probably even know. Like, let them do something with these two characters who have blossomed a relationship over time. Shatterstar could have been asexual, and then he found this man that he shared a connection with and bonded with him deeply.
Yeah, and like that was basically Peter David's explanation, was that prolonged exposure to Earth, end quote, and being around Richter changed how he felt, and he began to develop romantic feelings for the first time. Also, I have to bring in, because Peter David said in an interview that he took the inspiration for his version of Shatterstar from Captain Jack Harkness from Doctor Who and Torchwood, who he describes as a swashbuckling, enthusiastic, and sexually curious about anything with a pulse.
Ooh, nice. So you saw Doctor Who and you were like, yeah, fucking make him gay. I love Shatterstar now.
Shatterstar, we need a Shatterstar Doctor Who crossover.
Oh my god.
Actually, that'd be funny if they have the Doctor enter the Mojo verse or something.
Does BBC own all the rights to Doctor Who?
Yes.
Has anybody tried to buy Doctor Who, the franchise, off of them?
Well, like, no, because I don't think you can. I know back in the 90s, okay, the Doctor Who went off the air in 1989, I believe. And in 1996, they brought it back for a TV movie that was produced by the BBC and Fox. And Johnny Depp was actually in talks to be the Doctor at that point, because Fox wanted an American Doctor for their reboot of Doctor Who. But then the movie, they got a different guy, Paul McGann, who's British, and the movie tanked. And then it just never went anywhere. And Doctor Who faded into obscurity for another 10 years before they brought it back, and it got big again. So for many years, that movie couldn't be released because of the weird rights issues, because Fox was refusing to release it.
Oh, okay.
So after that, I don't think the BBC is going to let anybody else touch anything to do with it.
They're like, ours, let us destroy it.
Give it to Fox and let them destroy it. Although that would make it, if they gave it to Fox now, it would be a Disney property.
True. Oh, Disney would probably kill to have Doctor Who. They're like, we want that. We want everything.
But I don't think they would, because Doctor Who, Disney as a company isn't a company that likes to have a lot of non-traditional relationships in your face, shall we say.
Yeah, that's true.
And Doctor Who is all about that. So I don't think Disney would want it.
Well, I think that's all that we can talk about Shatterstar. He's not a very in-depth character, but I still love him, and hopefully Dan found something to love as well. So Dan, next week, I guess not next week, but next episode, I have no idea when that's coming out in correlation to this one. Who are we going to be talking about?
Next episode, we are going to dive into the murky waters of Spider-Gwen and all the spin-off characters she's produced recently.
Which is going to be a lot of learning on my part, because I know of the character, but I've never followed anything she's been in. Awesome. Everyone, thank you for listening, and be sure to check out our website, akindofgarbage.com, where you can find listings to all of our past and future episodes. If you have any fan mail or questions, comments, send them into akindofgarbage@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at A Kind of Garbage, on Facebook at A Kind of Garbage Pod, and also our Patreon page, patreon.com/A Kind of Garbage, where you can get a bonus podcast every other week where we talk about some shitty movie we watched. Finally, you can find myself on Twitter at Presto Adam, and with Dan, Martin, Chris, and Chris on the Hey Kids Comics radio show Friday nights at 8 p.m. on Trent Radio 92.7 CFFF FM. Dan, where can people find you?
People can find my music discovery podcast, Gather Round the Listening Post. That's round with apostrophe R on Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify. Now, I didn't realize it, but you have to listen on Spotify.
Spotify and Spotify Premium if you want to hear the full songs.
Oh, the full songs. No, I don't have Spotify Premium, but yeah, I've listened to it. Everyone, go listen. With that said, I'm Anna Bishop.
And I'm Dan Collins.
And remember to get your signatures certified in person.
Hey, Adam, you know what really crinkles my comic?
Oh, shit. What is it this time, Dan?
Deadpool comic cards that come in the X-Force issue number that are selling for $200 online.
Are we talking about Deadpool's rookie card? How is this a thing?
Did you do quotations around rookie? Deadpool's rookie card?
Is that his first appearance on a trading card? Is this what is happening right now?
Does that even count? First appearance on a trading card.
I have no idea.
So stupid.
I need to see one of these because you can get trading cards slabbed as well. And I need to see one of these in a slab to see what the notes are for it. But yeah, people are not killing each other, but they're fucking killing each other to get a Deadpool card in an X-Force #1. There are thousands of X-Force #1 like sealed in dollar bins right now. I have a couple in my comic book boxes.
My favorite is the one Facebook post that I saw that said it was rare to find the Deadpool card in the comic. And even if it is like technically, 2 out of every 10 is in this comic, that's still not rare when that comic has 20 million copies printed.
So there's 4 different cards, right?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure there's 4 different cards. There's Deadpool, I want to say one is Shatterstar, like oddly enough, and I don't remember who the other 2 people are.
You don't know? You don't know?
I have an issue. I have issues in my box. And I have no idea what cards they are. I know they're not Deadpool. I know that for sure because I remember Marty mentioning it to us that book sold a lot because of the cards. And I'm like, did people care about the cards even back then? But I guess they did, and they do again now.
What happened to make these cards suddenly popular? Because we've only seen this take off within the past week.
I'm 100% sure it's because of the grading companies are now doing cards. So they're figuring out, maybe they're doing their own census where they're figuring out what cards are the first cards of these characters. And then it's the marketplace. Like the market dictates how much something is worth. So if one person buys a card for a lot, people now think and believe that this is now worth a lot. So somebody sold this card for $800, let's say. Somebody sells it like, oh, I can get I'm not going to get that much. Maybe I can sell for $600. Then somebody buys it. Then somebody's like, oh, that only sold for $600. It went for $800. So I have one I can sell for $700. And they create this market where people are believing that this is how much it's worth until the market gets flooded. The market hasn't been flooded yet. It's going to be, but right now, to get I guess a high grade of this card might be harder unless you find these bagged issues that nobody's opened. The cards are just stuck in the back, sitting there in mint condition.
You know what I would do if this thing gets crazy? Here's a get rich quick scheme for you. You buy a slabbed copy of X-Force #1 with the Deadpool card. You open the slab and take the card out because the card should be in mint condition as well. The card, wouldn't it be funny if the cards were selling for higher than the X-Force at #1 9.8s?
Yeah, I know the slabs. Do they say what card is inside them? I feel like they do for the notes.
I'm not 100% sure, actually.
Do I dare to open up my eBay so I can be flooded with more, hey, you're going to miss out on this item notifications?
I mean, we're already seeing them all on the Facebook sites. So ridiculous. I saw a Facebook post from an old friend that was like, It literally just said, if you got old Marvel comic cards, you should dig them out because they're going for crazy prices. And I sent that to our group chat like 5 days ago, and suddenly it's everywhere now.
X-Force #1, 9.2 CGC for $44 or best offer, $27 shipping with card.
It just says with card.
Oh shit, where's the card? Oh, it's Shatterstar. That's unfortunate. When he received it, they take the card in the bag off, so they debag it.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah, the card will not be there, unfortunately.
So it doesn't come. Yeah, because I'm looking at another one and it just says polybag removed. It doesn't say anything about the card at all. So maybe it depends on when it was slabbed.
I'm just looking at one right now that has 2 bids at $10. This isn't CGC'd, but it does have the Deadpool card in the back, and there's 6 days to go, and it's at $10. We'll see where this goes. I'm gonna add it to my watch list. Yeah, hopefully this person like hits the lottery based off of having just a shitty book that nobody wanted, but there's a Deadpool card in there.
So is this what we talk about secondary markets? Is this now a third? Have we reached the third market here? You're buying a book to get the card to sell the card.
I assume it would be the first time. Did people buy the Marvel comics to get the stamps out of them to cut them out?
I mean, possibly. It feels like we've just gone beyond parody now.
I hate comic books and I hate what they've become.
And I hate podcasts about comic books too.